Hello, welcome to Shelf Examination Podcast, where we examine items found on the shelves of our library.
I'm Joe, the Makerspace Administrator for Southern Utah.
And I'm Sarah, the Reference Librarian here at the Hurricane Branch and Guru of Geeky.
I actually need to be careful. I think I said administrator there. I think I'm the Makerspace Coordinator, and there's at least one person who's like, no, you ain't paid well enough to be an administrator. There's one person that is actually important to...
A nitpicky person who's going to be like, hey.
Well, he works in HR, so...
Well, yeah, okay.
Okay. And today, so how you doing, Sarah? Welcome back.
Yeah, you too.
I say welcome back. I was the one who took a break this time.
I did a little bit too.
Awesome. Yeah, summer reading is over, and so we both get to get away from the library for a little bit because there is no taking a break in the summertime.
And I tell people, I went on vacation, but honestly, I was working 18 hours a day the whole time. So
yes, but it was fun work.
It was fun work.
You
and I was in costume.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was helping with the cosplay contest, and it was way fun. All right.
So let's
back to the Kaiju review.
We are on I think we're on the 12th episode of our Kaiju review, although we did double up on Gamera last week. But this week we are talking about the 1998 Mathew Broadrick Godzilla. I don't know, is it fair to call this the Mathew Broadrick Godzilla?
Yeah, well, he starred in it, so
he did star, and he's the face that I associate with.
This is America's first attempt.
Yeah,
at Godzilla.
I guess he's this Fay Ray. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
it was the height of that wave of his popularity.
It was.
And I learned to love Mathew Broadrick with Lady Hawk.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with that. But he'd done the producers.
Funny that because I also had watched Lady Hawk and absolutely loved it.
It's one of my favorite 80s dark fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd done a whole lot of things just right on top of that point.
I think the peak of his popularity was Ferris Bueller, but he wrote that.
Well, that's
and I also
80s.
remember War Games.
Yep.
Do
you want to play a game?
Do you want to play a game?
We should do one on 80s movies sometime.
We could do a season on 80s movies if we wanted to. There's a lot of iconic 80s movies to do.
Oh, how about Last Starfighter?
Have you seen Mannequin?
Yes.
First of all, I love Last Starfighter. Sorry, I don't mean to let that one go.
One of the first movies with
full computer graphics.
Full computer graphics.
It's interesting to me that movie used technology that they pitched to Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm was like, it doesn't seem ready for prime time. Here's the thing, and maybe we should save this for when we see that movie, but I think he was right. That movie has not aged super well, but it's still a fun movie.
But it was a movie that needed to be done as a stepping stone to move forward.
I agree. And there's a lot of good things about that movie.
Yep.
It's a heavy
because that movie happened, Tron could happen.
And Tron changed the entire game. Well, you know what's funny, though? We can bring it right back to this movie, because this movie was perhaps the first time that computer graphics were used for a kaiju movie, unless we want to consider Jurassic Park a kaiju movie. Now, we've discussed on this.
Yes, we have.
That a kaiju movie is more than just giant monster.
Yeah, the monster
while the
has
word itself
to have,
means giant monster.
Yeah, it does mean giant monster.
Yeah.
But in that setting, the giant monsters are completely unnatural. To this world. Well, and normally,
I think the big thing that for you and I matters is personality.
Yeah, they have to have a person.
The monsters in Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, they were just a backdrop.
Yeah, that's why we're splitting the hairs with
Pacific Rim.
Because,
we are going to do Pacific Rim, but
a lot of
is
those
it a kaiju movie?
Yeah, because a lot of those monsters, they don't have personalities other than in their subspecies. This subspecies does this, but they're aliens.
Yeah.
So is it an alien movie? Is it a kaiju movie? It's kind of one of those fence sitters.
I think that we will get to that. I think that we will do that one because it introduced the term kaiju
into American
vernacular, and so it deserves it on this list.
Yeah, if you were
not
an anime fan, it became popular in American and Hollywood vernacular at that time.
Yeah, so it's going to be on the list because of a technicality. Okay, so. But this Godzilla film really, I think, was the beginning of what I would call the modern era of Godzilla. It kind of kicked off what...
It kicked off what Hollywood's interest in it, and not just Toho Japan.
Well, and mind you, this movie didn't successfully kickstart it because after this movie, Hollywood was like, well, that obviously didn't work. And Toho picked it back up and kept running with it. And then Hollywood went, wait. Let's try that one more time.
Let's try it again. Well, and the funny thing is they say it was disappointing. But the original budget was between 125 and 150 million.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then
Numbers-wise, it met its goals
in just the box office, not including all the
post sales and stuff like that.
Blah blah blah.
At the time, that was still
$397 million.
Yeah, it hit the numbers. Now I will say this movie was spectacularly well advertised.
Oh yeah,
at the time,
word. $80 million on advertising.
The ads for it
were cool.
Great. And the ads for it really sold. The one that I remember was actually a scene from the movie where the guy goes out to the pier to fish, and then his fishing rod gets yanked out of his hand, and then we see the fins come up out of the water.
You see, and it gets up to like his eyeballs, and you're like, oh, that is creepy.
In none of those ads did we see the monster.
No, and they did that on purpose.
Exactly. Well, partially it was because they weren't done with the effects.
Yeah. But partially it was to create the intrigue.
Right. And at the time, watching those bits, I, of course, had the picture in my mind of Godzilla as we expected him.
Exactly.
And so when he showed up on screen, and we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
we'll do a little background.
It was kind of disappointing.
Well, the funny thing is I looked a lot of this up. TriStar promised Toho, because they didn't actually take the rights for it. They just lease optioned it from Toho. They promised they would keep the cautionary theme against nuclear weapons and runaway tech, and they would be true to the Godzilla design.
I do not think they succeeded on that.
And I think there was like 4 iterations of the script and the character designs.
This is interesting that before they even made the movie, they tried so many different ways and so many, and everybody. I've heard people say, and I heard you say just a little while, I wish we could have seen that version.
Yeah.
Now, which one of them?
One
of these early versions, they wanted to make Godzilla a bioengineered creature sitting in an amniotic fluid by the Atlanteans, and I'm like, we did that one
already.
last week,
we
guys.
did that with Ghidorah.
Yeah, exactly.
But the first two iterations of creature design looked remarkably like the one we're used to. But when they went through a number of different directors and producers and things to go through it. But when Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, who were the final choices,
who ended up doing it,
they said, nope, we don't care what you promised. We want to make this creature our own. We're going to make it blah. And it ends up becoming an iguana.
Yes. Well, not just, like, a lot of people outside of this movie call him Iguanazilla. And
it's funny because
at the time, I remember people calling him Godzilla in name only, or GINA.
Yeah. And it's funny because it was originally supposed to be a 3-movie set. And you can tell by the end of the movie.
They always want to set it up for a sequel.
You can tell by the end of the movie that's what it was supposed to be. It was contracted to be a 3-movie set, but it was disappointing enough that they didn't keep moving forward with it. But they did do an animated series.
I'm glad you brought up the animated series. The animated series is on archive.org, and you can watch the whole thing. I remember watching it at the time.
Me too.
Okay, this young me watched the original. Well, younger me. That's true. I wasn't married yet.
We were in our 20s.
Watched the original release of this into theaters and left disappointed.
Yeah,
the marketing.
My mind was definitely on other things when I went.
Well, mine was on. This wasn't Godzilla, and I walked away from this feeling like, this wasn't Godzilla.
He's an iguana.
The marketing was great, and then the movie let me down.
It's kind of like those. It's kind of like those trailers where you see every cool action shot in the trailer, and the rest of the movie is just kind of meh.
Yeah, this wasn't that though. This was.
Yeah, it's just like it didn't hit the mark as to what it was supposed to be, what it was going to be.
And then the animated show came out, and despite the fact that I was like. Early,
in your 20s.
Yeah, I should have been aged out for this one. I still watched it, and I was kind of impressed. And this was about the same time that Batman the Animated Series was out, so I was too old to be watching cartoons, but I was still watching cartoons.
Oh, come on, I still watch Sailor Moon.
Well, there were some good cartoons at the time.
Oh,
and
man. Heck
honestly, Godzilla series.
Yeah, the late 90s, early millennial era of cartoons was awesome.
Yeah, it was. And this was one of those cartoons. So despite the fact that I was disappointed by the movie,
the spin-off cartoon series was fun.
Cartoon I kind of enjoyed. So yeah,
but they used the same creature design. They used the same world, and it's funny because
it's supposed to be one of the children that survived.
Yes,
which was what they were going to build the sequel on.
Exactly.
Anyway, so,
but the a lot of places now call that world, because of the spin-off cartoon and everything, that is the world of Zilla.
Okay, so they're calling this monster Zilla now.
Zilla. Because that's what when the kid characters in the cartoon refer to, because one of the ones that's younger can't say Godzilla.
Okay.
They just say Zilla. So now they call it Zilla.
I kind of don't hate. So going back to this movie now, I wanted to watch it as its own entity. I wanted to, as much as possible, despite the fact that we're doing this as part of the Kaiju review.
Exactly.
I wanted to divorce it from Godzilla before
it's an orange in a bushel full of apples.
Yeah. Or it's just an entirely different bushel.
Okay.
And so I like the idea that we've got the Zilla universe that is separate, because that's the way I tried to view this movie. And did I like it? Well, let's talk the synopsis.
Okay, go for it.
Let's break down what this movie was about according to various online resources. So, during a nuclear test, the French government
in French Polynesia
inadvertently mutates a lizard nest. Now, why do you think that they went with French? Was it because Jean Reno was hot stuff Jean Reno was hot stuff at the time? Because I think that's 100% the only reason why they made this French. Because they're like, well, we got to fit Jean Reno in here, so let's...
Because he's Jean Reno.
Yeah, he was hot stuff at the time. He ended up being a part of a video game.
Yep.
Like, he was one of the first people who had his face fully digital scanned and brought into a video game. Like, he was hot stuff at the time.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
He wasn't, like, the headliner on this movie.
No, it was definitely Mathew Broadrick
on that. But the fact that they had him, they were like, well, we got to shoehorn French into this. So it was the French apparently who were testing nukes in French Polynesia,
and they want to do it in French Polynesia. They want to do it in French Polynesia, so it would be harder to detect because there's a whole lot of ocean around it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, quite frankly, if you're going to detonate a nuke, do it where there's a whole lot of nothing around it. So,
yeah, like the Bikini Atoll
or parts of St. George.
Downwinders.
All right, so moving on. Years later, a giant lizard makes its way back to New York City. Dr. Nico
Papadopoulos. Nick.
What's funny, that guy's name actually was named for the guy who designed the lizard.
Yes.
And so
they gave him a very Greek name.
They gave him almost the same name as the guy who made the design for the lizard there, which is interesting.
But that's Mathew Broadrick's character.
Broadrick's character, Nick Tatopoulos, an expert in the effects of radiation on animals. Okay, the first scene that we see him in.
He's supposed to be in Chernobyl area.
He's supposed to be in Chernobyl, and he causes the worms to come up by sticking battery rods in the ground, which makes the ground uncomfortable, so the worms come up. And I've always wanted to try that. I don't know if it would work.
That's so mean.
And he's walking away from there going, they're like 15% bigger, you know? This was his thing. Also, is Nick's arc the hero arc? Because he gets the call to adventure. Mm-hmm. He refuses the call because he's the wrong dude, but then he ends up being the right dude.
Right, wrong person, right place. Yeah.
Right. Like, is this the hero's arc? Is that what this character's going through?
The hero's arc, you gotta have your mysterious, Obi-Wan Kenobi type character.
Jean Reno.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be like the mentor.
He explained what was going on, and he brought him into it.
He was already there to begin with.
I think we got a hero's arc here.
Yeah, okay, well, most things boil down to the hero.
That's true.
Story
Okay,
of the hero
we
or
can
the story of the
shoehorn
redemption. You got 2 story arcs and, one more if you're going off of the heroine story. But let's be honest. Anything can be shoehorned into it.
I have some notes about that as well. Okay, so.
Okay, I hate her. So anyway, we'll move on.
I am so glad. Okay, no, you know what? No, let's face this right now because... Yes, my kid. I watched this movie with my kids, some of whom were adults now, some of whom were kids. All of them went how come he went with her and not the scientist girl who thought that he was cute?
I know. I was like, Audrey. And first of all, I like the plant Audrey, too, that eats people better than this girl. So I wrote down
Vicki Lewis's character in this.
She's a selfish self-promoter. And I thought when the credit got stolen, quote unquote, from her, she deserved it.
Yeah. No, that was Audrey, who is, she's the one who she broke his heart.
She breaks his heart.
And he's still pining for her.
And then
she shows up again and then
steals
stuff from him, makes him lose his job. She does come around in the end and like does a minor
it was all self-serving.
But then there was Vicki Lewis's character.
I know.
Who was so much more fun, who thought that he was cute already, who was already flirting with him. All of my kids were like,
why did he go with her?
Go with her and ditch the cheating girl.
Yeah,
you know?
He's like, totally ditch the journalist who thinks she's all that and isn't. And I mean, I'm sorry. I love the fact that Animal was my favorite character portrayed by Hank Azaria.
Yes, Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria is hilarious.
I think Hank Azaria does not get half the credit he deserves. I
loved
loved him in Mystery Men.
Yes.
I loved him in this. And every time he does voices from The Simpsons, I don't even like The Simpsons. And I like the stuff that he does.
Oh, he's amazing.
And he did a great job in this movie.
For being the poor cameraman who gets dragged everywhere he does not want to go.
Except he still is the one who instigates it. Now, there is a scene in this movie later on where Animal ends up following Nick as he gets kidnapped by the French police.
Yes.
But his reasonings for following him at the time, I was like, why is he chasing him all the way down? And then he comes back and he like gives this one-line explanation of, I was going to try and talk him out of it or talk some sense into him or stuff like that. And then I found out that he was being, tailed back. I'm like, dude, you are going like 10 miles out of your way to talk a dude out of like, hey, you should absolutely give my sister or her friend or whatever a second chance, which, quite frankly, she still doesn't deserve.
No, she does not. Oh, my gosh.
He ended up being the reason why she was there to give the broadcast at the end that gave her redemption arc. He was the reason for that.
Yeah, he was the reason for her coming off as a slightly better human being.
Yeah.
But
again, he saved the movie.
He did.
Dang, Animal, man. This man.
No. I loved him. I loved the on-screen energy between him and Mathew Broadrick, especially when they're running across Manhattan being chased by a monster. And the fact that he managed to do all of that action with a giant camera on his shoulder whole time.
I also love that he was a good cameraman because when stuff started going down, first thing he does is grab a camera and run towards it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that is the way we
were
told
this
cameramen
man
to be.
Deserves a Pulitzer for that. This character
absolutely does. Animal was a great character. Hank did him in
well.
all kinds of justice. It was good.
My favorite scenes were the scenes with him and Nick because they had banter and it was really fun. And
I
agree. Fact that Nick is like, "Where are you going?" and he's like, "Getting the shot."
Yeah, doing my job. He was awesome, and I love him. But Audrey, like honestly.
I mean, I have it in giant letters in the back here. It says, "Why would he make up with that woman?"
Yes, and especially when he had. Apparently her name is Dr. Elise Chapman. I don't care. Vicki Lewis, she was great. She was fun.
I loved her.
She was in it for like 2 seconds, and all of my kids were like, he should have been with her. She was great.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly. I walked out of that movie theater looking at my husband, who, well, at my time, suddenly fiance, because he became my fiance that morning, who slept through most of the movie, and he's like, wait, so he went with the journalist, not the cute scientist? I'm like, I know, right? That's about the point he fell asleep. But
let's see. We are halfway through the synopsis. Let's keep going.
Oh, sure.
But I'm glad that we got that out of the way. We needed to air that out.
Audrey is blah. Feed her to Audrey too.
Feed her to Godzilla. Why not?
Yeah.
Actually, that's interesting. Godzilla never ate people in this movie.
No,
not
just
once.
Squished them and tossed them around. And
right.
Well, there's a reason, I kind of think, for that, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Okay. When the creature, dubbed Godzilla by news outlets, emerges, a massive battle with the military begins. To make matters worse, Nick discovers that Godzilla has laid a nest of 200 eggs, which are ready to hatch.
Madison Square Garden.
In Madison Square Garden, which they get to underneath.
Blow up.
Okay, so what's your thoughts?
All right. Well, first of all, why did they have an iguana swimming?
What do you mean?
Iguanas don't swim.
Do iguanas not? Well, because Godzilla swims, so we got to have Godzilla swim.
Like iguanas don't swim. At least not like that.
Iguanas also are 100 feet tall, so
Yeah, I know. I realized that he was supposed to be.
He's a little bit past actual iguana. We can't map iguana to this Godzilla. You know.
I know, radiation and all that. But the other thing,
I wish radiation could make me swim. Why not? Yeah. It makes men stick to walls like a spider.
And then they have the iguana, Iguanazilla, attracted to fish.
Yes, he eats lots and lots of fish. And it's collecting them for its babies.
But iguanas are, for the majority, they're herbivores.
Yeah.
I'm guessing why they didn't eat people.
Possibly.
But, I mean, they'll occasionally eat tiny lizards or they'll eat insects.
Yeah.
But 90% of their diet is
this is
plant.
this is a radioactively evolved, what were they going to do? Just put a whole bunch of broccoli out there for it? That would have been a completely different
I would have loved that because then it could eat it instead of me.
And let's be fair, there are a lot of vegans who still eat fish, so do fish really count as meat?
Yes.
Even so, yeah, there's a lot of things. This is a movie. Okay, so one thing that happened in this movie is that the mayor of New York and his right-hand man are
his assistant.
They're named Gene and Ebert. They are 100% Siskel and Ebert, and this was done with a very specific purpose in mind, and the purpose was because a previous Roland Emmerich movie called Independence Day got lambasted by them.
I know, they hated it, but I loved that movie.
Yes, and a lot of people loved it.
Not the second one, the first one.
No, but they re-reviewed the first Independence Day movie because they reviewed it once and they went, it's dumb. And then everybody loved it. So they went back and re-watched it again and they went, I still don't get it.
It's War of the Worlds. What's there not to get?
Exactly. But so his response...
I have a personal love of that movie because an actress that I worked with once dies 4 times in it and then lives at the end.
I like that movie.
She's
one of the extras. That's funny. I would love to...
I was like, April died. April died again.
I wonder if you could isolate those clips and put them on a YouTube shot or something so it could be like April, and now April alive. That would be funny. But so in response, the director puts Siskel and Ebert in this movie and makes them like the incompetent mayor.
It's like the Namesake. Have you ever seen them?
No. What's this? I don't even... The word doesn't mean anything to me.
In Independence Day, you have the one guy who was just horrible, and I think his name is Namesake or Lipinski, something like that. And he ends up sitting in Area 51. He sits down next to Jeff Goldblum's dad.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm not Jewish.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like,
that guy. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He is named after a producer of a previous movie that pulled out partway through and screwed them over. And so now anytime they have
it's another little revenge plot.
And every time they have a whiny, obnoxious character, they always name him after that.
That's funny. But here's the thing. Siskel and Ebert are in this movie, and they're just...
incompetent.
That's it. Siskel and Ebert's response to this was, first of all, they didn't like this movie very much.
Well,
okay.
Even the people who wanted to like this movie didn't like it very
exactly much. At the time. Their complaint, I think, I actually went and watched their review of this because of their presence in this movie. And their complaint was that it didn't have the gravitas or terror that a Godzilla movie should have.
Yeah.
Now, I disagree with that because... did you see Godzilla in the 80s? Him doing all those wrestling moves and jumping around and stuff like that.
Yeah, the 81, the 1980s where he looks like he's from the WWE.
Yeah, I don't think the gravitas is necessary for a Godzilla movie, but I do think the character is. And I don't think that this Godzilla had character.
No, I think they were saying, look, we have all of this background and all of this, lore of Godzilla, and that's what we went into wanting, and you failed to give us that.
Exactly, and they did say something along the lines of, this doesn't live up to the crap shoot motion movies of the past, which are better movies than this
is.
And I'm afraid
were really
I agree
cool.
with them. Yeah, the effects were
cool,
great.
but unfortunately, I think they had a lot of put a lot of the weight of this movie succeeding in the effects and not the actual storyline.
Which at the time was, again, we've just come off of Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park was sold on the effects, and the effects were amazing.
Yeah, but the human
aspects of Jurassic Park.
Amazing. It was great.
And this movie's B story was not great, and its A story wasn't great. The other thing that Siskel and Ebert said that I thought was funny was, why even have us in the movie if we're not going to be eaten by the monster? Like, if you're going to take revenge on us, take revenge on us, man. Don't just make us be like wimpy half baked characters. Take revenge on us. I kind of love that take.
Take us out.
Yeah, I demand a higher caliber of criminal. Right. I love their response to that. So that was good.
The other things that they changed was, his breath is not atomic. Okay.
No.
It's breath because it is asexual.
And that was one thing that bugged me in the movie. Once they figured out that it was pregnant, they still kept calling it a he.
Yeah, I mean, he does say it's asexual, much like
I would still be inclined. Once you lay an egg, I'm afraid that your pronouns have been changed to she until you tell me otherwise.
Anyway,
it's just the way my brain works, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they took away its atomic breath. It's now power breath.
It did at one point blow a hot breath that had a flame that caught the flame on fire. But there was no atomic breath.
Power breath.
Yeah, they just made him really stinky breath.
Yeah, it's like
I guess
death by.
It did light on fire. It was combustible breath.
Yes,
but it did not light itself
I'm sorry,
on fire.
I just don't see halitosis being your main weapon.
I've known some people.
And then let's see, what other? Okay, Nick figures out really fast the origins of the monster, where it's from, what it is, and okay. So he studies these mutations, but as we've seen with the zapping the worms, he's like, oh my gosh, it's 15% bigger.
This is a little more than 15%.
Yes, I know. I was like, wait a minute, okay, but he figures it out super fast. But I'm sorry, I wanted to hang with the military people and dinosaur.
I think to a certain degree what we had there was Nick Tatopoulos had to be super intelligent so that we could get the exposition.
Yeah, and
it was not because it made sense. They had to establish
him as the smartest man in the room.
Right. And so he had to, he had to be the one to tell the audience this is where it's coming from.
It's not a dinosaur.
And two, he had to be established as he's the right man. This is, again, his hero's arc. This is him being the hero in that moment. Does it make sense? No,
not
but
really.
Does much in this movie make sense?
No, I mean, not only apparently is he all-knowing when it comes to how radiation affects animals, but he's a herpetologist, he's a biologist,
Why did he think to check the blood for pregnancy chemicals?
Who knows?
I don't know, but it turned out to be the right thing. Like, that was just, he just had this, and I also love that he walks into a random store in New York that is still open.
Right.
While there is a known iguanosaurus swimming around in the sewers.
Well, and they apparently...
or subways or something,
Underground. But they had evacuated the city.
Yeah, except this one store, apparently.
So this one drugstore.
You know, there is always going to be that one person in New York who's like, screw it, I'm staying put. If I die, I die. Yeah, exactly.
That's, it's that tough...
New York tough, man. What do you want?
But he's suddenly a herpetologist. He's a biologist. Yep. He knows all these things about all of these creatures.
He has all the answers.
Weren't you studying worms?
And yet he's not smart enough to not leave Audrey in the tent unsupervised.
Right.
God dang. Like, why did he walk away? Sorry, I don't mean to bring this up again, but this is the nail for me. Have you seen A Quiet Place?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the nail?
Yes.
The nail is stupid.
Yes.
The nail had no reason to be there
other than
in world, out of world. It just added drama at a point when we didn't need it. Like, giving birth isn't bad enough. You got to impale her too. No, you put a stupid nail in the stupid, and Audrey is the nail in this movie. just...
We don't need another inciting incident. The incident is a giant iguana.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up again. I'm over it. I'm okay.
I get it. Deep breath. So, so suddenly he's an expert at everything involving this creature. And then you get Philippe Rocher, which makes me think of chocolates. But anyway, he's so stereotypical in what Hollywood perceives as a French spy.
Now, here's the thing. I don't hate that. I love that they had this running gag with the coffee.
Yeah, that was very funny.
I almost feel bad that they didn't pay that off
I
later.
know.
I would have loved while he was in Madison Square Garden to have him come around with a cup of coffee that he's looking at and going, why is it good here? Like, they had an opportunity to pay that off.
Why is this the only good coffee and now I have to drop it and run?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that he did a fantastic job.
Oh, he did a great job.
I thought the character was fun.
But it was written so stereotypically.
It was.
There was
also,
so much they could have done with
him
it.
doing the Elvis accent. I don't hate anything about this character.
No, he was fun.
It was fun. It was strange and pointless, and again, I feel like it was because they had the actor and they were going to shoehorn him into it.
They talk about he talks about how he's a Secret Serviceman from France.
Well, and they're trying to cover
up the origins of the monster, but Nick has already told the officials this is where it's from.
Yeah. Well, except that Nick did not specifically say that it was French Polynesia, and it hadn't gotten out. And he was making sure that when the official news got out, because remember at the end, Animal's tape is stolen, and he's like, I'm just going to erase the parts where you mentioned France so that you can give everything else out. Yeah. So I would say he's doing his job. Yeah. I would say he's doing his job.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
The other thing, okay, so I understand that a lot of animals have really big migration circuits.
Yeah.
But why on earth did Godzilla go from French Polynesia to New York City?
And this is 100%
and they never answer it.
Disaster movie logic.
I know. It's either Tokyo or New York City.
It's either Tokyo or New York, exactly. And this was America, so we were going to do it in New York. Yeah, is no
LA would have made more sense.
Not only is there no logical reason for him to be attacking New York, there's no, or him or her, Godzilla to be attacking New York. There is no logical reason for it to stay in New York and lay all of its eggs.
Well,
this is a place where it is hostile.
Yeah.
There are people constantly shooting at it. And it's like, this is a good place to raise the babies. No,
I'm sorry. West Coast has some perfectly good stadiums. But
find yourself 10 acres in Wyoming and nobody will ever bother you.
No one will ever know. But... It especially since it's attracted to fish. That's how they keep trying to draw it out, is all these fish. And unfortunately, they're in Madison Square Gardens where the eggs are hatching, and they all smell like fish now because they're trying to track. And so, of course, they're all like food. But
I will say,
why New York Harbor if you want fish?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
There's not a whole lot.
You're going to get pollution, but not fish.
Yeah. The scene at the end, though, in Madison Square Garden, where we get the Velociraptor chase, except they're not Velociraptors because they're
iguana whatever.
Iguana raptors.
They're not iguanodons.
They're
iguana
100%
somethings.
Copying what was done in Jurassic Park.
It was
and here's
Jurassic Park.
I don't hate it.
No, it was fun.
It was kind of neat. It was kind of fun. The little Godzillas were kind of cute. And then
and that's where you get a lot of the banter between Nick and Animal.
Yeah, it was a great scene there. And then of course they have to escape through it and they bomb it, and then Godzilla rises up out of the middle of it after you had killed all of her babies. And we get the final fight.
They're in Madison Square Gardens, and the babies start to hatch, and they end up in
that was also
the broadcasting booth.
We had the fake out death.
Yes.
Which Siskel and Ebert complained about, and I was like, no, dude, that's a staple of the...
Yeah, that's total franchise right there.
We have to do that.
I was like, it was the one thing from the franchise they kept.
Yeah.
But you have Godzilla, and it's in the harbor and in Hudson Bay, or not Hudson Bay, Hudson River.
Hudson River, yeah.
Totally different entities. But, and it takes out one submarine, the other submarine torpedoes it several times, and it's trying to burrow to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And you just...
what did it burrow? Never mind. Don't think about it too hard.
Don't think about it.
The other thing that I thought about...
It's trying to burrow to get away, and you just see it gets hit by the torpedoes, boom, 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 and it slowly sinks to the bottom of the Hudson River.
I will give them credit for... If Godzilla was going to be killed, it was going to be underwater where nobody could see it, because that's where Godzilla always loses. So fair enough.
He's in the water, he's about to lose. But So, you have Madison Square Gardens. And I loved the fact that they send the broadcast out in the broadcasting booth.
Yeah.
Which was believable for once.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're like, okay, there's all these babies, blah, quick, what do we do? And they're like, well, we're going to bomb the heck out of it. Wait, we're still inside! Run, 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 run.
Yeah.
Being chased by the baby Godzillas.
It was a very cool scene.
Fun.
It was a very cool sequence.
That, I think, was the most entertaining part.
Another thing that was cool was when they were fighting. I don't know if this was cool. Okay, one thing that I noticed, let's just put it this way. Another thing that I noticed is when they had the helicopters flying through the city chasing Godzilla
Which
down.
made more sense than jets.
Well, it did. There were several scenes where we were looking out the front canopy in first-person view as it was going through the city, and they were very cool shots.
But they
for
weren't
some
really
reason,
necessary.
For some reason, they reminded me of full-motion video games on the Sega CD. For some reason, it just looked like either a rail shooter or sewer shark. I don't know why. And the worst part is, that was the era.
Yeah.
Like, those video games existed at the time.
I thought I was playing Skyfox. What is it? Star Fox? Star Fox. I thought I was playing Star Fox.
Were they making those shots for
the fans
the
of those
video
games?
game, or were
they
those
doing
shots
homage?
Which came first in this particular game? But those shots stood out to me for some reason, because in the back of my head I was going, sewer shark? Something was weird about those shots. They were cool looking though.
They were cool looking.
And there was a lot of people I've heard criticized. They're like, why don't you just fly the helicopters up out of the way? And the answer is, yeah, that would have been way smarter.
That would have made sense.
That would have made total sense. Totally should have done that, but it was cool watching. It was
more dramatic this way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why fly helicopters around the New York buildings? You could just fly them over. And the other thing was, and my kids actually were saying this at one point. At one point, Godzilla was, going after one of the helicopters, and the helicopter was flying away from him, and my kids were like, "Go up higher."
I know.
Fly. And, he gets away and he's like, well, I think that I managed to get away from him. And then Godzilla comes up from him and crushes him. And my kids were like, if he had gone higher.
I know, right?
Just go up.
When your 13-year-old can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. It was extremely dumb, but also still very cool.
Yeah, it was
so
a very
much
cool
of this
shot.
movie was rule of cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now that I've watched this movie, and I tried to divorce it from original Godzilla, there was a lot in this movie that was cool.
There was a lot of rule of cool
movie
in there.
that was fun. There was a lot in this movie that should have worked in a lot of ways.
But didn't.
And it just didn't land. Why didn't it land?
Because it was, this is cool bit, this is cool bit, but there was nothing tying the cool bits together.
Maybe. I do not know.
I am not blasting the actors at all. For what they were handed, they all did a great job.
I'm not blaming the director. I think that he did great with what he had. I'm not blaming the writers. I think they did great with what they had. I'm not blaming anybody.
It was like the fourth iteration of the script.
Absolutely.
Fourth or fifth.
This movie did what it set out to do. It was fine for what it was, and yet somehow it just didn't connect.
No,
at the end, the final product of it, I came through going.
Yeah, I remember watching
even on its own merits, it's just okay.
Going, that's Godzilla. That's not Godzilla.
But even removing it from Godzilla, it's still just okay.
Yeah.
The whole movie just felt okay.
It wasn't bad. There was nothing much potential.
There was nothing specifically bad about it.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't Godzilla.
Yeah.
And the fact that it wasn't Godzilla made me leaving the movie theater going, bleh. But on its own merits, it's still I still can't get excited about this movie.
It's like my husband says, the movie World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
He says for an orc movie, meh. But for an ogre movie, it's great.
Yeah. Okay, let's put it on the rankings here. So looking at the rankings here, we've been doing a lot of movies, so we've got quite a bit to go here. At the top, we got King Kong 1933. You've got Godzilla 1954. I've got King Kong versus Godzilla. In fact, Godzilla 1954 doesn't show up until number 5 for me. But then we've got King Kong versus Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla up there. Terror of Mechagodzilla is up there for me. King Kong Escapes is up there for you. Let's see. Is this as bad as Rodan for me? I put Rodan way lower on my
Yes,
list,
you
and I'm
did.
still regretting that. I want to move Rodan back up.
Well, now that you have more to compare it to.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's see, Gamera 1995. Oh my goodness, this is better than Gamera
It is.
1995.
Oh, yeah, way.
Okay, so I found, for me, it's going above Gamera 1995. Is it better than Mothra versus Godzilla?
No.
Again, Mothra versus Godzilla is a movie that I have a hard time remembering. It didn't stick with me. This movie was memorable.
For all the wrong reasons.
Not necessarily for all the, it was, I at least remember what happened. Okay, is it better than Terror of Mechagodzilla? Oh, man.
I love me some Mechagodzilla, but as far as the movie is concerned.
Yeah, Terror of Mechagodzilla was not great. Terror of Mechagodzilla was not terrible, but it was not great.
See, it's kind of the same. Was not terrible.
Was not great, but it wasn't
terrible.
terrible. Okay, here's the question. If I had to judge this between the 1954 Godzilla, which is at number 5 on my list, and this Godzilla, would this Godzilla be better than the 1954 Godzilla? I want to say no immediately, but I didn't enjoy 1954 Godzilla. It didn't make me feel good. But then again, this movie didn't make me feel good either. I didn't come out of this movie
No one can see me
going,
shaking my
"Ooh."
head at you.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It didn't make me feel bad.
It just didn't live up to what you were
It just didn't
expecting.
make me feel good.
Yeah. It didn't
So-
live up to its hype.
I am going to put this at number 6 on my list, above Terror of Mechagodzilla, but below 1954 Godzilla. And I'm still going to rethink whether or not I want to move Rodan.
I think I'm going to put mine beneath King Kong Escapes, because that one was just so fun.
Yeah.
And above
Yeah.
Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Okay, so this one, we've both basically put it
Right in the middle.
just above Terror of Mechagodzilla, but it is a full middle of the road
Yeah, right in the middle.
movie. And you know what?
I didn't love it, didn't hate it. I have some good memories tied to it, but it has nothing to do with the movie.
And the thing is, I remember this movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember it for anything bad.
No.
It just is what it is, and I think yes, Godzilla.
I think it was a pretty good
1998,
introduction
right
for American audiences to a kaiju movie, not necessarily to Godzilla,
Yes.
but to a kaiju movie
I would
that
say
was American
as a
made.
kaiju movie, this falls short, but as a disaster movie, it is
Yeah, okay.
serviceable.
And there was a
okay.
lot of disaster movies coming out
There
that
were,
time.
and there still are. Honestly, in the end, this wasn't as bad as I
no, it
remember
wasn't
it,
terrible.
but it wasn't great.
There were some great fun moments to
Yeah.
it, but overall, I wanted more.
I will say, we got more because this was the launch of
Of the new revival.
a new revival. Both Toho and Hollywood coming in and doing really good things with kaiju movies after this point. It was the beginning of a new era.
Yes.
So regardless of how well it did it, I think it gets credit for that.
It broke down the barrier
Yeah.
of the no one wants to do these movies, they're too campy.
Yeah.
Into
I almost
we
think
can do
this
more
one
with
wasn't
it.
campy enough, but it was a first step.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves some credit
It
for
does
that.
deserve credit for that.
So next time, oh no,
No, what are we doing? What are we doing? You have the list. I can't see it.
Cloverfield.
Do we have to?
It's on the list. It's a kaiju movie.
No, it is, but it's a terrible kaiju.
I know. Can we just put it at the bottom and just move on? Okay, next time we're gonna watch Cloverfield.
As you can see, I'm sure you can tell we've already seen it.
I have
before.
watched this movie once.
I made it halfway through.
I did not want to watch it again.
I DNF'd it.
Oh my goodness. We'll try to finish it this time.
What's after that? What's after that? What can I look forward to?
Oh yeah, no. Let's get some hope after that one. After that is the 2014 Godzilla, the first Hollywood Godzilla
okay.
that actually counted.
The one that's now part of the big overall
yes, the one that
monster movie
kickstarted the
room.
new monster verse. So
And then after that is what? Kong Skull Island?
after that is actually Pacific Rim.
Oh, Pacific Rim, then Kong Skull Island.
Then Shin Godzilla.
Oh.
And what's funny?
Shin Godzilla is most definitely falls prey to that. It's more dramatic this way.
Shin Godzilla has come back recently with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who have some strong opinions about Shin Godzilla. we will talk about that.
Yeah, when we get there.
We have lots to talk about. But yeah, this is going to be the low point, folks. So buckle up for Cloverfield for next week. Now, if you are enjoying our little conversations, we'd love for you to engage with this podcast.
If you can think of movies that we're skipping over that we might actually have access to, please let us know.
Absolutely. So be sure to like, leave a comment, leave a review, do all of the things that make our robot overlords happy. That's going to be it for this episode. Yes. My name's Joe.
And I'm Sarah.
And we invite you to do some shelf examination of your own at your local library.